All right, we're live here. We're coming in here hot, folks. We got a special election going on right now in New York. This is to replace uh, an expelled congressman. All right, so I'm going to give you guys a little bit of context behind this whole special election. So on November 8th last year, 2 years ago, uh, George Santos was elected the congressman from the 3rd District of New York, defeating Robert Zimmerman to replace the retiring Tom Suozzi. Before Santos took office, he got caught in a bunch of lies, eventually got charged with felonies by the United States government and the state of New York. On December 1st, the House of Representatives by with 301 to 214, 301 votes to 114 voted to expel Santos for his misconduct. And obviously now we're having a special election to replace Santos. So that is what's happening right now, is that we're having a special election to replace a congressman who was expelled. Only the sixth time in history that has happened. All right, so joining us now is Dante from California. How's it going?
Pretty good. How about you?
I'm good. So, what's your write up for this race? I provided the background of what got us here.
Okay. Oh, first
So,
results.
all right, it is Swazi 65. All right, so for just under 14 months ago, we had a special election. Trump was elected with we he Nassau Santos won by 10, and then Queens Santos only lost by 4. So what does uh Philip need to do here to win this race?
Well, Queens is the bluer area of the district. It's also the area of the district where there are going to be significantly less votes coming out of Queens. Most of the district is concentrated in Nassau, so she probably needs to keep it close here. Uh, but you also have to remember Santos won here by 8 points, so a 4 point loss. She doesn't need to keep it as close as 4 points to win overall. Santos, you got to remember that this district was Biden plus 8 in 2020, and then Santos won it by 8 points, and Lee Zeldin won it by 13 points in 2022. So she can win without coming quite as close as Santos did here, but obviously only 40% in. I assume these are going to be all early votes, mail-ins. And the margin will narrow a bit, but obviously, you can't win this district losing by 30 in Queens, even if most of the votes are going to come out of Nassau.
Yep. So what is the benchmark for Queens for Philip?
I got to look into that more.
And the balance of power in the House is very, very under. Let's just say it's very important that this race is very important right now for the balance of power, because the Homeland Secretary was just impeached about an hour before the stream.
Well, here's what we do know about the Queen's election day vote is that it was 58% Democratic registered voters, 23% Republican registered voters, 19% independents. Now that's only election day vote, and obviously historically the last few years in New York, there have been Democrats who have crossed over and voted Republicans, but that's where it stands overall right now, 66-34 in favor of the Democrat. We expect Swayze to get a decent amount of crossover support.
Nassau is the big part of this county, this district.
Yeah.
In 2022, Santos carried it by 10 points.
Yes, Swayze will need to keep it much closer.
And in 2020, in this part of the district, Biden won it by 5.
Well, it's worth noting that the Nassau stretches into New York 4 as well. This part of the county is the redder part. The bluer part of Nassau County is in New York's 4th district.
Which is also held by a Republican, Anthony D'Esposito.
And that district was Biden 14, I think, maybe.
And plus, we're going to get some new districts eventually here in New York that will probably favor Democrats.
Yeah.
Let's just say it's going to be gerrymandered. I'm going to be straight up. It's going to be gerrymandered for the Democrats. We just got more votes coming in from Queens. Philip gained a couple.
Yeah, not a lot of votes, just a slight change in the margin.
Yeah.
Went from about 66-34 to 65-35, with 40% in, now 43% in. So yeah, I think
Folks, this may not be as exciting as our stream from New York 19 a couple years ago, but hopefully this will have the kind of effect that it had New York 19 had on us a couple years back. That's what we're hoping for tonight.
So I do think that 40% that came in right away from Queens was all the mail-in votes.
Ooh, that's not good for Philip. If what you're saying is true with the in person with, yeah, that is not good. Republicans needed a little bit better. I think it would be good for. I think it's always good if the Republicans win the. It's like it's a good sign when they win the election. They vote like, but they didn't even win the election. They vote in Queens, so that may be a big problem.
No, I said early vote, not election day.
Oh, what's the E-Day? Right.
Well, we've only had like 3% of it come in. It was like 0.7 in favor of it moved the needle not much, but only 3% of it came in. Maybe a little bit of E-Day came in with that first 40%. Zeldin actually did win the Queen area of the district. I was able to find it. He won it by 3. Biden won it by 19. But remember, Zeldin won this district by 13, so I wouldn't take his performance too seriously. He very much overperformed.
Yeah, and Santos underperformed Zeldin by about 5 points.
He did. He underperformed.
Again,
Zeldin.
the context here is Representative George Santos was expelled on December 1st. And so, yeah, we got a special election here to fill his seat. And the deal is, if the Democrats win it, it'll be a pickup. It'll be a flip. And it'll put their margin it'll close in the margin even more for their majority, for the majority in this November.
There's also obviously going to be some intrigue as to what the final margin of this race is if Swayze wins.
Is Wasserman not covering this race today?
He probably is. I'm not really following him right now.
I just checked his Twitter and he didn't even post anything about today's election.
He hasn't posted in a little bit, it looks like.
So if Swazi wins, that'll be a pickup for the Democrats, and it'll move the needle from 5 to 4.
We got
And they're
few votes from
Nassau.
Nassau. Actually, we got votes. We got more votes from Queens as well. It's 60%. It's still 63-37.
Yeek.
Crazy. So that's 26-point advantage. Remember, Biden plus 19.
And these early votes coming in from Nassau is 51-49.
No clue if those are early or E-Day.
If it's this close, that might be trouble for Pilp if she is running only 2 points ahead of Swazi when Swazi is doing very well in Queens.
Yeah, I'll see. I imagine right now his final margin is tracking to be just a bit under Biden's, but obviously way better than I think Zimmerman was the Democratic House candidate here against Santos last year.
Yeah, he won by 4 here.
Yeah. Obviously worth remembering that Queens makes up about 1/6 of this district.
The full district, Queens, Biden won it by 66 of the full county. Biden won 66% of Queens. In Nassau, he won 52%. So take that as you will. Oh, wait, no. That was with his total. I didn't count his other endorsed party in New York. He won Nassau 54 to 44. The whole county 54-24, and in Queens he won it 72 to 26. That's the full county load. There is a snowstorm going on in New York, so that might take some time to get results, right?
Well, it's been mostly cleaned up, but yes, there was early during and it affected early vote in-person voting today earlier, but it's been mostly cleaned up at this point, I believe. Certainly looks good for Swayze early. Looking closer at these results, I found a precinct math. I mean, it's Swayze's worst performance in some of these is like he's still getting 30% in the places where he's doing his worst.
NBC is a little bit ahead of the New York Times right now. It has right now it has 10% in, with Swazi at 62.4, Philp at 37.6. Yeah, Swazi just over 12,000, and it just had Philp at 70, almost at 7,300.
I'm using this precinct map I found. I don't know what percentage is in, but it's. I want to look at a detail and all. Worth remembering that
we just got an update on the New York Times here,
and it actually is a gainer for Philp because she gained a lot in Queens. However, Swayze now takes the lead in Nassau County.
Yeah, by a couple points.
So she narrowed it a couple points down in Queens, but
it's still a 24-point lead for Swazi.
Queens is counting quite quickly here. Sometimes in the past, New York has taken quite a while to count.
Hence 2022.
But Queens is moving quick. We already got New York Times says 72% in. Their estimates can be a little inaccurate, but I don't see any reason to assume that they're that far off. And
I think
at this
NBC
point, we'll
is a little bit behind now.
We'll see if Swayze is able to match Biden 2020 in Queens. That's going to be a question, but because I assume he will outperform Biden 2020 in Nassau, but that's not a given. We never know. But it definitely looks really good for Swayze right now. Okay,
Did you figure out what? Has anyone figured out what the benchmark Philp needs in Queens?
I don't think I don't have a benchmark. I don't think anyone actually sat down and made one, but
I'll see if Kornacki said anything. Twitter.
I don't know where that bit more came in. I don't know where it came in from, though. It was so small that it didn't really change anything.
It moved the needle towards Philp. It came from, I think, Queens.
Yeah, it's a minimal amount of votes, though.
I'm assuming the benchmark for Philp is right. 10%, like keep it within 10 in Queens. I'm assuming have it between Biden 20 and Santos 22. While doing pretty well in Nassau, and it's not looking good in Nassau so far. Queens is at 72% in. Nassau is going very slow, while Queens is going pretty fast.
and Swayze just gained a little bit. Oh, we're up to 82. So we're up to 82% in Queens. That's a 10% increase, and Swayze gained votes. This is not good at all for Maisie.
Yeah.
She's going to really need to knock down the door in Nassau now. It's back up to 26 point lead for Swayze and Queens. Remember, Biden won here by 19. He is probably on track to overperform Biden right now.
So it looks like Philip needs to overperform Santos in Nassau. And Santos won there by 10 14 months ago.
I'm going to just say this. I don't know where the New York Times is getting these results in Nassau, because I'm looking all over and I can't find a single other place that's reporting them, and that includes the county site of the County of Nassau's election site. So I have no clue where the New York Times has gotten these results from.
I think it could be a glitch, and these are Queen numbers, but
I don't know. I'm not saying it's wrong, for the record. They could totally be right. The New York Times probably knows better than I do. I'm just saying I can't find any other website that has these results in from Nassau yet. And because there's so few, it's a little weird, but we'll see.
I mean, the best thing I think is it's either a glitch and these are all Queen numbers, or this could actually be the actual results, and the other sites are just slow.
Queens still probably has a few thousand votes left in it. Those are obviously not an automatic gain for Philip, because we just saw Swayze gain in the last batch.
I think the next batch could probably be our last batch of votes from Queens.
I mean, as slow as Nassau is, we can make some extrapolations from the Queens result. I don't know if Swayze's going to end up actually overperforming Biden 2020, but he's going to overperform, Zimmerman 2022 by a wide margin. So
yeah, it'll be a decent margin that he'll,
because that was +4.
It'll be a very decent margin where he will overperform. We just got a little bit of a batch. I think this is Nassau. No, it was Queens again.
No, actually, we didn't. I don't think we did. I think they were just kind of resetting the results. I think they refreshed, but nothing came. Sometimes the New York Times website does that because the percentages are the same. I mean, maybe they added 10 votes, but nothing significant. I mean, I don't know if you asked for a benchmark earlier. I still don't have one for you, but probably. But
yeah,
I think
I looked for one.
You You don't have to be a
Yeah,
genius
I
to
looked
realize
for.
she's not meeting a benchmark right now.
Yeah, we just gained votes here. It was I
She
think
gained like a
Queens
10.
just dropped in their batch. Yep, Queens dropping their batch where Philp gained about 500 votes, maybe.
That's not moving much of a needle. But it does mean that our next Queens batch could very well be our last for sure.
I still don't know where they're getting those numbers from Nassau.
I'll also say this: I'm seeing some sources suggest that the New York Times is behind on the Queen's result. They have 86% in, but I'm seeing some sources, including the Queen's Board of Elections, say it's actually 91% in. If it's 63-37 with 91% in, that's a big deal. Because I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
Because what I'm looking at is seeing the margin in Queens is correct. Like the New York Times has the right numbers, but they're undershooting the amount of votes that are in.
Yeah, it's definitely a big blow if it's 91% in.
Again, this was Biden 59-40 in 2020. Right now, Swayze is up 63-37.
Right now we're trying to figure out which sites are ahead and who's behind.
I'm sticking with the New York Times. I think they're pretty good. They're just undershooting the amount of votes reported in Queens for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I think their site usually undershoots it by a bit. To be careful, but once Queens actually finishes, I imagine it'll update it. Clearly, Swayze's crossover appeal was not overstated.
Yeah, this is definitely big for the Democrats. You get type say, oh, we got an air vote dump. I don't know where it's from.
Yeah, I can't tell either. It looks like it must have been from Queens, but it was pretty minimal. But Philip gained a couple.
She's still
points,
down
not
about 6,000 votes, so
didn't move the needle too much.
I'm going to see what the NBC is saying right now about what's going on.
And it still says 86% in for the record, even after that dump.
New York Times is a little bit ahead of NBC, it looks like.
We're in the moment right now where it feels like kind of obvious Swayze's going to win this one. But because of the kind of expectations going into this and, expecting it to be super, super close, I don't think anyone wants to say it, which I think is fair, especially until we get more information from Nassau County.
Which might take a little bit.
But I mean, yeah, if she can't even, if he's outperforming Biden 2020, and again, Biden won this district by 8 points. Oop, there's some results. That's up to 89% in Queens, and for the first time in a bit of actually a significant gain for Philip. New York Times now has it up to 89%. As I've said, we can probably undershoot that and say it's about 95% actually, and it's still a 24-point lead in Queens.
Yeah, that is bad news. He needs to get.
We're getting close, and she still hasn't gotten past the 40% mark in Queens.
She needs to get.
She probably needs to get past. She needs to get past the 40% mark. I don't know what I'm talking about. Probably, unless she's really going to like overperform in Nassau. And I mean, she is from Nassau. That is where she represents in the legislature.
She's probably banking on like a 20. I think it's gonna be like a 15-point win in Nassau at least to overcome this bad of the deficit in Queens. Or like 20. We just got more numbers coming in from Queens. Yeah, they need to move the needle a bit here. She needs to I say she needs to narrow it to
yeah. So I just checked the Queens district site. New York Times says 89%. It's 95% in.
Yeah.
This is about, so they have about 24,000 votes reported. Estimates are probably about 1,000 to 2,000 more votes out of Queens.
So the next drop might be it.
Yeah. Even if New York Times doesn't say it is.
People might be. This might, if she doesn't get over 40, it might be. I think it might be called for Swazi very soon if she doesn't get above 40 in Queens, then her campaign's in big trouble here. Our next big day for elections is Super Tuesday in about 3 weeks.
Okay, I found a benchmark. So people are, based on what we know from voting, there's about 145,000 votes in Nassau. Remember, we got about 24,000 in Queens. Pilt probably needs a 52. She needs to win at 52-48, assuming that she can't really make a dent in this Queens result and get past 40% here. That's the benchmark. She needs to win it by 4. So that's doable, and that's why we haven't called this race yet.
Yeah. But the thing is, Santos won it by 8, won Nassau by 10. So for her to actually have say that we may win this, he needs to get probably the Santos number, 55%. Because this dent is insanely. This is an insanely big hole that she needs to climb out of. That's what she said. To get out of this to win. The New York Times is saying that it's 23,953 votes reported in Queens.
Okay, I'm looking at the Board of Elections in New York's results. Okay, they're saying 97% reported.
We just got votes. Pilt gained, narrow gain.
Very, very few. New York Times has it up to 90%. Yeah, but over here they're saying
Is it 24,294 from that website, the Board of
The
Elections?
Board of Elections has it as 97. Let me refresh. 97% in. It has Swayze at 62% and Pilp at around 38%, which is
Is
so
the
again.
total vote
The New York Times has its
24,294?
counts right. It has its counts correct. It doesn't have its It doesn't have its percentage correct. It's like undershooting the amount of votes that are in. We're almost done. Queens has almost fully reported all its scanners. So I don't know if the New York Times is assuming that there's like early votes that haven't been counted yet. I don't see any reason to assume that.
Yeah.
But yeah. So the New York Times has about the margin about correct. He's still, even with 90%, he still is ahead of Biden 2020. And obviously far ahead of Zimmerman 2022. And man, New York 2022 is really the worst case scenario for Democrats.
Yeah. But to be fair, the Republicans had a very strong year there. Because if it wasn't for the Republicans got lucky that California and New York trended right, or the Democrats would have had the House still. And with the new redistricting, Democrats gaining 2 seats from Louisiana and Alabama, they would only need 2 more seats basically to gain back the House.
I feel like it's pretty fair to suggest that Swayze would have won re-election if he had run again in 2022.
Yeah.
But he ran for governor for some reason. I don't really
Wouldn't
know
be
why.
as big as his. Yeah, I don't think he should have ran for governor. The reason why he didn't run for re-election was because he ran for governor.
He came in third. I'm gonna go look at this Nassau. The Nassau.
I mean,
County
he had the
Board of
right
Elections.
to run. I mean,
I want to see if
he had the
Nassau's
right to
actually
run for
reporting
governor.
it.
Hochul. And the New York Times still has it with the same number it's
Nassau
been
County
for
is saying that shows nothing in right now. So I don't know where the New York Times is getting those numbers because this is the official Board of Elections.
I think those
There's
could.
on the website.
I think those could be the votes in. I think those could those be Queen's votes that got mixed up,
I don't
or
imagine so. I imagine they have to believe like something, but yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I'll let you know what the official websites say, and we'll use the New York Times to kind of compare stuff a bit.
the Queen's one is accurate with the board, right?
Yeah, the Queen's board, they haven't updated in a minute. It's still at 97%. The last update was about 5 minutes ago. Okay, we're up to 98% in Queens.
I don't think we got the drop yet here in New York Times.
I'm going off the official board websites, and Swayze gained.
Yikes!
Just a little bit, but it's 61. Oh wait, no, I think he went down a little bit. No, Pilp gained, but not by much. She gained. It's still about 62 to 38. So she gained, but not really that much. Sorry, I misread.
Probably like 50 something votes.
Yeah, it's a pretty small percentage. It went from about 97% to about 98%. Still,
and New York Times hasn't updated. It's still 24,294 out of Queens.
Okay, so the NY3 part of Nassau was Biden +5. Santos +10. We've said Pilt needs to win it by 4. And you just got your update on New York Times.
All right, cool.
Of course, it won't really show if you look at the Queens district because again, it's still 62.
Yeah, it was only like 100 votes that came
Yeah,
in.
it's not a lot. We're still at 90% reporting here. As of right now, I expect him to overperform Biden in Queens.
Yeah, he will overperform Biden.
It depends on how many votes are left, so I haven't called that yet. But yeah, she would need to have massive net gains that she just hasn't been getting. But I'm going to keep commenting on it because Nassau is incredibly slow. So what else are we going to do?
I'll check the New York Secretary of State's office and see if they have anything on all right, New York State, New York Department of State. No, government. Damn it. I don't see where they have their
You got to look in the county board, the county.
Oh, they don't have anything from the actual Secretary of State office?
No, don't go to the Secretary of State office. That's for statewide stuff.
Oh, all right.
Google,
I was just making sure.
Google insert county board of elections, and you should be able to go on their website and find results somewhere. Although the last time I looked at Nassau, there was still no results in there.
All right, I'll check right quick. Board elections, Nassau County. Special election. Okay. Election results. Can't be reached. Yeah, they don't have anything here from Nassau yet.
Queens seems like it's updating every 5 minutes for the record. Now that I'm like, I just noticed the pattern.
Yeah, I don't know where New York Times is getting their Nassau vote total from.
Well, we'll just figure it out when we get there. I don't imagine Swayze will overperform Biden there. It's really it's kind of interesting.
There is write-in section, so
it's pretty minimal. I'm on the Queens section here. There's about 72 write-in votes, so not even a third of the total percentage, 0.29.
Remember, there wasn't even a formal primary for this election.
I don't believe there ever are in New York specials. Oh, 99%, and it's still 62-38.
I think I just got that vote drop as well. She narrowly gained.
They did.
Yeah, I'm now again there 200 votes.
And yeah, so we should get our last batch in about 5 minutes. And yeah, once again, she's not gaining enough. This is probably going to end up being about 60, 61, 39 all told.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 62-38 right now on there.
Yeah, the specific number is 61.58 to 38.13. When it was 98%, it was 61.70 to 38.01. So small gains, but I don't think I would be surprised unless there was like something. She's not going to break 40% here. Okay, I have to go.
All right.
I'll probably come back unless Nassau reports and we find out that this is over. But
yeah,
for now, yeah,
right.
you should get the last results in a few minutes. Just know that it's, even though it says 90% and it's the final batch,
yeah,
probably.
Yeah. So in about 5 minutes from now, we will be getting the final results from Queens. I'll continue, folks, to look at the county board for Nassau and see if there has been any results from there, because New York Times has a little discrepancy here. It says that there's 2% votes, 3,000 votes reported here in Nassau, when the official website has reported nothing so far here. To everyone watching, good evening. We are getting ready to. We are about 48 minutes into this live stream for the special election for Congress. 48 minutes into the stream, so we are again waiting to see if there's the discrepancies match, because New York Times probably has 3,000 votes that has not been reported by this actual board of elections in Nassau, which I am a little concerned about, because I don't know where these 3,000 votes are coming from. But the board of elections says, in representative for Congressional Free, Thomas R. Swazi, nothing. Mozzie Melissa Philp, nothing. Well, the New York Times has Swazi at 1566 and Philp at 1466. So if you guys have any idea where this 3,000 votes are being reported from, other than New York Times, can you guys please send it in the chat? It'll be very appreciated, because if you guys do care about, if you guys mind, because I have no idea. I've been looking at this for the past hour. It feels like an hour, because this discrepancy is pretty let's just say it's pretty obvious when the board elections. I think it's a little computer glitch, but you may never know. It may be ahead of the official report. So I have no idea where those 3,000 votes came from in Nassau. Anyways, we are about a minute. We're about to get our final results here from Queens. So that Nassau is going very slow. We might get results at the top of the hour, so they're 10-ish minutes away. But again, all of our votes are basically Queens, which is, as you see here, about 16% of the total district voting population. And again, the benchmark for Philp is to win Nassau by 4, which is doable. But again, she is in a little bit of a hole here with what happened with Queens, where she won't crack 40 unless some big bunch came in from the Queens area that is heavily Republican. Like, I think it's got to be like 50%, like almost 80% Republican for her to get over 50. Over 50, what am I saying? Over 40. So again, we are waiting for Queens. This and the official results from Nassau, which is, again, the official results in Nassau County, New York, is Thomas R. Swazi 0, Mozzie Melissa Philp nothing 0. So we have enough. The Board of Elections is saying that there's nothing in from New York Free when the New York Times says there's 3,000 votes in from New York Free. So it may be a little underreported, maybe a little overreported. We do not know. It could be a complete glitch on the part of the New York Times. But again, Thomas R. Swazi, the former congressman, has a big, decent lead right here over Mozzie Philp. Yeah, we should be getting a huge vote dump we could get a huge vote dump in about 7 minutes from Nassau, which would be the more Republican part of this district. Again, Biden won this district by 8. Santos won it by 8. Biden won Queens area of Queens area of District 3 by 19. And Biden won Nassau. I think Biden narrowly lost Nassau, District 3 Nassau in 2020. I just refreshed the Board of Election page in Nassau County. It still has nothing reported right now. Oh, we just got our final Queens votes. Hold up. Yeah, I think that was our final Queen votes. Votes from Queens. It moved the marker a little bit, but not a lot. It's a 21-point lead right now for Tom Swazi. Not good. $53.43 left into the stream. We are waiting for Nassau to finally drop some votes. It's like 85% of the voting population here in Nassau, in the 3rd District of New York. Again, the storm that came in earlier today really impacted what's happening impacted in-person voting there. Like, it was like a couple inches of snow, like, in the area, which, again, happens. It's February. We're in the middle of winter. All right, I'm going to refresh Nassau, like, the Board of Elections page in Nassau. It's free for anyone to view. So I'll share the, since I don't want to be called a liar. I will show you what's going on. This is Nassau County official Board of Elections page. This is, you see what's happening here? This is today's election. Tom R. Swazi 0. Mozzie Melissa Philp 0. Write-in 0. Literally, and the New York Times has 3,000 votes reported of the county. I don't know what to talk about now. Like, it is 9:56, going on 9:56 here in New York. We could be getting Nassau results at the top of the hour. That's what I'm assuming is going to happen. But right now, Queens came in with their final result. I believe this is their final results. 24-5-10. Swazi got about 15,000. Won at 15,000 to 15,100 to 9,300. So again, that's a little bit more than 6,000 vote win there. The benchmark for Philip in Nassau is win by 4. It's doable. It's very doable. But the question is, what's the big turnout there in Nassau? How much turnout is there in Nassau? Like, I think if it depends on the turnout, what the benchmark is. I say, like, if it's bad turnout, I'd say like more like 10, 15%. But if it's like the turnout that Dante earlier was talking about, yeah, I could see like 4 or 5% win there. Could be the benchmark for her to potentially overtake Swazi, but we're just here waiting. Nassau, New York Times discrepancy. I'm gonna refresh. I'm refacing the page for you guys once again. Again, there's 437 precincts there in Nassau. Nothing has been reported. We're about 2 minutes away from 10 o'clock in the east. So I have a feeling we might get results very soon there. Man, the New York Times is making me go on a goose chase here, because it's making me double check New York Times, double check the board. It's crazy. We got about a minute left before the 10 o'clock in the east. We have 7 people watching. If you please watching, please hit that like button. About 60% of people who watch my videos or my streams are not subscribed. Please subscribe, like the video, or the stream, to help me get out in the algorithm a little bit. So, with that out of the way, let's continue. I'm sorry, guys, I had to. But looking at it here, again, I'm still refreshing the Board of Elections page. We're about 20 seconds away from 10 o'clock. Again, still nothing in, but on the Board of Elections page, while in New York Times, they have results yet in District 3 Nassau. In poll, it's now 10 o'clock in the east. I'm hoping I am right that Nassau drops some votes soon. Again, we're going to be watching the margin here a little bit. Again, I'm reloading the page. God damn, bro. Oh, we got our final result. We got results. Nassau Holy. Holy. Okay, we just got a huge drop from Nassau County. Okay, I told you guys. All right. I was about a minute late, but so here we go. 40,000 votes just dropped. Swazi is destroying Philp right here. 58 to 42 with 45% in. I believe that's again underreported there. I'm gonna check the board of elections, but Swazi is leading by double digits in Nassau County, which is big. For I think Swazi might about does it. I think. The board has yet to send in election results. So I'm guessing that the board has just not been reporting the results and they're just waiting for it to be finalized, because I don't know how New York Times can report 69,000 votes at this point with nothing from the board of elections in Nassau County. Oh, I think their website just crashed. All right. It crashed for me. Let me reload it again. Yeah, they haven't even put in results there. So I guess it's just them being slow with their own computers. They're just, I don't know. And there we go. Tom Swazi has been declared the winner of the special election in New York's 3rd congressional district, defeating Mosey Philp. Mosey and Dante is back. And all right, they just declared Swazi the winner.
Yeah, I came back when I saw it. Well, I missed most of the final segment, but yeah, he's up 16 in Nassau with 45% in.
Yeah, what I've been seeing is that the board hasn't. You probably have been listening to me for a little bit about Nassau with it not reporting it on the county board, so I don't know what's going on here.
Yes, might be administrative stuff, I assume.
Yeah, but that is a destruction right now in Nassau County.
I'm kind of intrigued to just see what the final result is, because obviously he's won. I want to know, how much he ends up winning by. Is it more than Biden won by?
Right now, he leads by about 17 points.
I imagine he'll end up underperforming Biden, but I'm still intrigued.
In the 2022 turnout, 2022 turnout was about 271,000. This year's turnout is at 93,000 at this point. I think this could get close to, if it's 52% in, it's probably more closer to 60. But if it's just that, I think it can even match its 2022 general election numbers. which is crazy.
Well, George Santos would have won this election.
George Santos getting expelled was a
I think all
big
those
win.
write-ins are probably for him.
Ow, motherfucker. All right, but Santos lost to Swazi by probably this margin 4 years ago, right?
I can look.
Like, I think it was like high 50s for Swazi.
It was. Yeah, it was about 13 points. 12, 13 points.
Yeah.
Of course, the district was a little different back then too.
Yeah, this is the district violence that was adopted during last year's 2 years ago during redistricting.
This
Again,
has a bit more of Nassau in it.
yeah. Do, 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 do.
Santos is outraged on Twitter.
Is he saying there's voter fraud or something?
No, he's saying he would have won the election.
Yeah, is he saying there's like voter fraud?
Not really. He's blaming the Republicans who voted to remove him.
He brought that on himself.
Well, you can never over extrapolate from special elections to November, but this is got to be a little bit comforting for Democrats considering there hasn't been a lot of great news involving the Biden campaign recently.
Yeah, a Democratic House could be a good thing for, like, if Trump is ultimately elected in November, that could be a check on the Trump administration. Like, that would be a check on the Trump administration because, again, the House has the power to impeach some people. We just saw that like an hour before we came on here. Right. But obviously, this is definitely a good moment for the DCCC.
Yeah.
And who were always targeting this district and already had this district in their target list.
And surely I would say this puts we don't know how redistricting is going to turn out, but even if the New York redistricting doesn't end up happening, which isn't a guarantee, it's not a guarantee that it happens. Obviously, Democrats are going to be favored to hold this district in November now that Swayze is an incumbent once again. I think even standing, assuming no redistricting, I think we can just. I'm gonna go ahead and move this to likely D for November, even if it's the same district.
Yeah, like this is like Swayze winning a new district basically by, let's say he's probably going to win it by double digits at least.
Well, we'll see. Based on his margin in Queens fell about 8 points from early vote to the final. It's not totally final yet, but it's pretty much final. If that happened in Nassau, he'd win there by about 7. It was Biden +5. So right now, I'd bet on him overperforming Biden 2020 by just a bit. Yes, that wouldn't be quite double digits, but of course that's rough math, and I do expect Pilt to do a little to probably perform better in the Nassau E-Day than the Queens E-Day. But I mean, the E-Day votes from Nassau weren't great for Republicans. That was an early sign today that tonight could be a rough one.
Yeah, it is looking very rough.
So this will make the majority in the House 219R to 213. We have 2 vacancies or 3 vacancies. Wait.
Well, this would be free. It'll be, but once all the vacancies are filled, which will probably be by May, I think it would probably be
Okay,
the
3 vacancies. Yeah.
the Democrats need +4 to regain the majority. And they only have 2 basically guaranteed in Louisiana 6 and Alabama 2.
Okay, so New York 26. So yeah, it'll be 3 vacancies. And assuming no more resignations or deaths, we should have a full House again sometime in June after Ohio 6. Right now, as far as special elections going forward, the primaries for California 20, which is McCarthy, and Ohio 6, which was Bill Johnson, scheduled for March 19th. And then as far as special election generals, you have New York 26, which is Brian Higgins. New York doesn't do primaries for special elections. That'll be April 30th. We'll get a new member there. The McCarthy district will be May 21st, and the Johnson district will be June 11th. That should be 1 safe Democratic district and 2 safe Republican districts. No real competition.
So this was the only swing district in this special election cycle.
I mean, there could be another special election that comes up, but for 2024, as of now, yeah, this was the only swing district that was really relevant.
Yeah, that brings the Republicans down when the full House to 221.
Yeah, of course, we never know what's going to happen with resignations or someone passing away, but yeah, a full House, this would be 221, 214, 221 Republicans, 214 Democrats once you have the other 3 seats filled.
Obviously, in 2022, it was this exact margin after the Texas 34 district election, and then obviously Patel won Alaska. So that brought it down. That offset at 34, Texas 34. So I don't know if we'll have a mayoral election that could offset this for Republicans, but it's looking unlikely at this point that this will stay a force. I say that the House is I would be happy if I'm Democrats right in the Democratic war room right now. If
yeah, I mean,
looking at the map,
there are going to be a lot of takes spun about this and how you shouldn't over extrapolate, and that's true. But fundamentally, this is good news for Democrats. They win a swing district in Long Island. Certainly, a lot has been made of their struggles to win in Long Island the last few years. And yeah.
And this narrows the majority, literally narrows the majority when there's a full House. It will send it down to 2. The Republicans started the Congress with 222, and now with a full House being 221, that's a problem for them. And plus, with Alabama and Louisiana giving them basically losing Alabama. Actually, looking at it, it would be a wash because of North Carolina. Yeah, looking at it, it's basically still a wash because of North Carolina. Why does Nassau take so long? We got vote dump about 15 minutes ago, and that's been all we've gotten.
Yeah, so right now my projection for final margin, and you can check me on this if it ends up being wrong, a little under 9 points. Swayze.
Yeah.
Overperforms Biden 2020.
Give Nassau County workers new Wi-Fi because their actual their actual board has still 0 results. So give them some better Wi-Fi.
I think we'll go about 5 more minutes here to see if we get any more results.
Yeah, give these people some better Wi-Fi, please. So, other than what we learned about how Republicans might be in trouble in swing districts, is that one Department of Elections has good internet and the other has terrible internet or something like that.
Well, I
Or
mean, good for Queens because obviously they've had some issues in the past too with counting. It's good. It's good that they got this done as quickly as they could.
now South's Board of Elections probably on running on that freaking library Wi-Fi or something.
I think another takeaway is that Democrats outspent Republicans here by quite a bit, and they spent and especially early on. Republicans narrowed the spending gap in this district by a fair amount as we went later. But
I have assumption that if they would have kept Santos, he would have probably lost by a bigger margin than this.
I would probably say yes.
Actually, he probably would have lost the primary to Pilp.
Although, to be clear, Mazie Pilip was not a great candidate at all. She really struggled in this campaign. And as I said, Democrats heavily outspent Republicans in the first few months of this election. Republicans really only caught up in the spending here, and they were still deeply outspent. They really only caught up in the last couple of weeks. Early spending matters. Defining your opponent early really does matter.
Yeah, like
unfortunately for Republicans, Pilip became very easy to define.
Yeah, like Trump, like they put her connected to Trump, to Santos, to Mike Johnson. Like they put her into that dysfunction down in Washington.
Yeah, she also has some gaffes of her own.
Yeah. So I'm assuming the results we got in Queens right now is the final results.
Probably, basically. Let me check. The Board of Elections says 99%, so basically.
All right.
We get a few more votes in, but you can basically call that over. And Pilip is officially saying she has has called Swayze to concede. And so we can pretty firmly put this one in the back burner.
Yeah.
I got some other stuff.
We got someone that actually at least we got Republicans conceding this time. But
not much to protest with this margin.
Even though Trump got destroyed in some of the even though Trump got lost by 3 in Michigan and 1 in Pennsylvania. I mean, true that Trump probably did. It was close enough for Trump to actually ask, especially in Wisconsin, Georgia, and Arizona, especially. But But again, there's nothing to contest really. This margin is insanely large. Like it's not like it's not a solid numbers like we normally see in some of these big Democratic counties.
Well, I'm gonna call it a night.
Yeah, we're calling this stream. All right.
See
Thank you
in
guys for
about a
joining
month.
us. Thank you guys for joining us. Before we leave, I am gonna acknowledge some milestones this channel and this stream has accomplished. This channel has had its biggest most concurrent viewers of an entire stream. At one point, we had 11 viewers, and it's hovered around 5 to 6 this whole time, which I am completely thankful for. Secondly, I would like to thank you everyone for 150 subscribers. It is a great feeling to have people subscribe for you for fast, easy content like what I produce. Like I produce videos on my desktop at home using OBS and another Poco Map similar. And it's not that hard to do. I would like to thank everyone for joining us. Every like, every favorite, every subscription helps me in this hobby. And I am going to try to make better live streams for you, the people, to enjoy. I'm South Political Central, signing off of the stream.
See y'all in March.